Damn it. How the fuck? Oh, green dot. I think we're good. Right.
Oh, goddamn. Hello?
Yeah. Oh, shit. Is my
I got
microphone
no
on?
audio.
Stand by. Stand by.
Okay.
Now my microphone's on. Let's go. Hey, everybody. Welcome to You'll Probably Agree. Again, episode 2 of the Bad Batch is on. And, of course, I have my Star
The
Wars...
Bad Batch. Wrong
What?
show.
Did I do it again? There's something wrong with my brain. But, alright. Anyways.
He's thinking about bitching about a different show.
The Book of Boba Fett is out. And, let me... Ow! Shit! I'm trying to stand up and I'm pulling the lav cord with my foot. Alright, let's start that again from the top. But unfortunately, we're live, so we can't, and I ruined it, so...
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So, let me start again. Hello, welcome to Back to the Future, where we talk about each chapter of the Book of Boba Fett, and we are on Chapter 2, which, to me, is an enormous improvement over Chapter 1. But before I get into that, I'd like to introduce my Star Wars partner in crime, John Davies from Cinema Obscura, Chicago. How you doing,
Hell yeah,
John?
again, Mike. Hi. Good. Welcome to the show, everybody. Thanks for listening, the two of yous.
Yeah. We got lucky when we were rolling. I had the usual, this is something I see basically all the time as a live streamer or a guy who does video. Like, all your equipment fails at the very last minute, and then at the last minute you get it to work again. There's never a dull day in our jobs. But all right, let's see how that
Show must go on, man.
Yeah, that's why you had to get assistance. But what did you think of the episode, John?
I thought it was all right. The Tribes of Tatooine, a.k.a. 420 to Mos Espa. I thought it was great. It was right along the lines of like High Noon or 310 to Yuma. It's the gunslinger version of Boba Fett that we probably never thought we were going to see, and we saw it.
Yeah, it was good. The nice thing about this episode is, first I'll give like a little synopsis of what happened. This is very much in line with classic cinema, this episode. You begin it off with basically you find out who the assassin was that tried to kill Boba Fett. It turns out these just weren't random guys with sticks. These were actually people who are notorious assassins who get hired, for jobs. But of course, according to Fennec and Boba, that's not a big deal. Anyways, once Boba finds out who sent them, which is the mayor, we find out that the mayor tells Boba it's actually not him, but someone else who sent them. And from there is an on-street verbal confrontation between Boba and a party member that I will not reveal as of yet. But once Boba goes back into the Bacta tank, we see more of what happens with him and the Tusken Raiders, and Boba gets to have some very impressive scenes where he he takes down a whole bar full of pikes on his own with just one stick and
gathered the
Tusken
horses.
Rifle. Yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then they wrap up the episode with a callback to Lawrence of Arabia, where Boba Fett stops a train filled with these pikes that are basically terrorizing the Tusken Raiders for their own amusement. So once he takes down that pike, once he takes down that train, Boba officially, we see how he gets the garbs and becomes a part of the tribe, and how he is now might have a little Tusken Raider army of his own. We shall see. But yeah, again, a high concept episode. We get to learn who Boba Fett is.
He's built desert power, if you were to think about it from Dune standards.
Oh,
he's got desert power now. It's like, oh man, dude's strong in the desert. He's fine. He's just got to figure out his foothold in the city, and then the whole planet is his, pretty much. But he just keeps it. I don't know. It was only like 14 minutes of the new stuff, but it seems like they really don't want him to take over the city for some reason.
Oh, well, that's because I think we can, let's already jump into spoilers here. I mean, assuming if you watched this, you already know this is going to have spoilers. We're not going to not talk about the plot. But, hey, there's a guy.
About this if you haven't seen it. I hope.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, people must have not have seen it by now, but are going to see it and probably watch the reviews later. Usually that's what I do. Even before I was a critic. But yeah, guess what? Although Jabba the Hutt's dead, Boba, he has relatives, and it is a family business with the Hutts. I mean, there's no secret. We've known about this in Star Wars lore for a while, and now Boba Fett has gone to war with them in this very Western standoff scene where Fennec's behind Boba. He tells her, hey, get my back. And he tells the cousins of Jabba the Hutt, if you want to kill me, go ahead and do it here, because I'm not leaving. I'm keeping this job. And that was a lot of fun to see. I was just a little confused. I'm like, well, can Boba really back up his words, considering in the last episode he was so easily taken down by those two guys? But as we see later on in the episode, he certainly can, and he knows how to be a leader. You know, he was able to lead these Tusken Raiders to a victory. He has his dances with wolves moment with them, if you will. You know, he is their Kevin Costner, or he is the character from Avatar, where he finds the indigenous people, and he sort of, you know, is their savior in a way.
Oh, that's funny. Well, you mentioned Avatar, but you're like, the character, like, nobody cares about that.
Yeah, nobody cares. Who remembers him? It was...
Anyway, yeah, no, it was a fantastic episode overall. You know, a lot of action for what we were getting. You're looking at a whole as like a 6-episode series / you know, a 6 or 5.5 hour long movie. It's a solid second chapter. It was a lot of fun. You know, you got to see. I don't know. I don't think you named him, but it was the Night Wind.
Oh,
that was working for the mayor / not working for the mayor. I don't want to like. I forgot that we were live, and I don't want to like give away too many spoilers. But yeah, they're like this high-end like assassin group that was hired by somebody, we don't know who yet, but the mayor's denying it. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
Well, the mayor said somebody sent him, and I honestly didn't know who that was, because he enters the place where Jennifer Beals' character is, and basically says, like, hey, no, she says the twins own it. That was it. And that was referring to Jabba's niece and nephew. Or not niece and nephew, I'm sorry. Was it their niece and nephew? Was he their uncle? Or no, he was their cousin. That was his cousins.
It was something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it was his cousins. Now I remember clearly it was them. And of course, that was kind of funny to see the other Hutt family and kind of get like, oh yeah, like in a way, this is sort of like a mixture of Scarface and The Godfather. If Boba Fett ever dies, I would love for him to go out like Tony Montana.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe he'd be like all like high on spice. And he's like, come on, you think he'd be rough? And he won't even have his armor on? Nah, just kidding. We won't turn him into a total idiot. And that was the nice thing I liked about this episode. We find out, yeah, Boba Fett, he might make mistakes, but he's not a complete idiot. at all. He's actually a pretty smart guy.
Yeah, I mean, you got to see him still in like his pajamas, basically, just whoop ass.
Yes. Let's talk
No,
about that
they
scene.
didn't
Now,
give
I
him
rewound
clothes, they
that
didn't give
scene,
him...
and I fucking, like, yelled, yeah, let's go! You know, acting like a stupid bro watching it. Gosh, that was fun. That was something I wanted to see for a while. I mean, the show proves, like, Boba Fett doesn't need his armor to be tough or strong or
and
cool
like,
or
just
whatever.
like how effective he is without it. It's like, imagine what he's like in that crazy ass armor that is now revamped in the new era of Star Wars, or whatever you want to call it.
Well, not only does he have the same armor that he repainted, but now with like a new identity, because he has the Sand People who can basically he's one of them now, right? Or is he's still the chief? Who is a chieftain of the Sand People, I'm wondering? Because that guy is a bona fide badass. Like, at a certain point, I'm like, forget Boba. Look at this guy. He hurdles a speeder towards a train, blows it up, and then basically parkours in and out of the window, knocking dudes out left and right with one hit.
And it also showed you, like, just how good a shot the Tusken Raiders are. Like, they hit people in tiny windows in a train going, you know, billion parsecs a minute.
Yeah.
You know, or, whatever, I'm not going to get confused with that right now. But, like, they hit people on a moving train, like, oh my goodness, they're good shots. You know, they have some skills, those Tusken Raiders. They're not messing around out there.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, when Boba got defeated by that Tusken Raider initially, I'm like, oh, look at this guy. You have those two, like, guys with sticks knock him out, and then you have a Tusken Raider beat him. I get it, he's dehydrated and all that, blah, blah, blah. But you find out, oh no, that wasn't just some random Tusken Raider. And killing that big beast actually, in hindsight to this episode, was a bigger deal than I thought it was.
Yeah.
And you see how, because these guys are warriors, and he becomes a warrior. And that sequence when they put the garbs on him, the music, it's not by Ludwig van Gorison. They had another gentleman do the score. Shit. And luckily, I have his name right here, Joseph Shirley. His score is especially beautiful when they're putting on the ceremonial garbs for Boba Fett. You hear sort of the chanters going, oh, or however it went. It was actually kind of a nice sequence. You could tell, like, oh, in this moment, he's maybe kind of a changed man.
Well, that and it, like, completes, or at least, like, for the most part, completes the backstory of how he got to where he was when he found Fennec in the desert.
Yeah.
Because he was literally wearing all of that stuff and carrying all of that stuff when he met her. So it's like, this is like, that was the gap story. It was episodes 1 and 2.
Yeah, well, I'm just wondering now, how much will be focused on the Sand People and how he gets to Fennec and all that, because here's what I was, not how much he gets to Fennec, I wonder if that's going to be covered quickly or if that's going to be a whole ordeal, blah, 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 blah. I'm curious if I'm going to still be interested, because here's the thing that wonderfully surprised me is that I wasn't sure if I was going to be so interested in this show after the last episode. I'm like, am I really going to care how he becomes a Tusken Raider? Am I really going to be, like, want to spend more time again in Tatooine in the, you know, and just find out how he gets not the armor but the other stuff underneath? Like, is that really going to matter, or is this going to be like the Han Solo movie, or did you just say Solo?
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, okay, I know how he gets.
Down, and that crossed my mind as well, dude. Seriously, just because there's a train sequence. I think that's the main reason.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what are they doing? What are they doing here with this? You know, okay, they did a train, but that was the whole episode and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that crossed my mind. But no, that's not what this is. No. This is the gap story. This is a lot of fun. And just like we said earlier, the gunslinger, the badass, You get to see him do what he can do without any armor on, and it's for real, man. It's like, okay, they built his ass up.
Yeah.
Now people that didn't understand what Boba Fett was or who Boba Fett was kind of now have an idea.
Yeah. They had it with the stormtroopers,
they really,
but those are like weak-ass stormtroopers, you know, like any idiot can kill a stormtrooper. But
and even that, like, that's a separate series, and like you don't want people watching this series to have to back up and be like, oh, who is this guy? Blah blah blah. Like they tell you who this guy is.
Yeah.
Everybody knew who he was when he was whooping when he was whooping stormtroopers' asses on Typhon. That was awesome, but
yeah, that was amazing to see. But this is sort of like you see, oh wait, he doesn't. Like, these aren't just dumb stormtroopers. These are like pikes. These guys would take down stormtroopers with ease. And he just says, give me a stick, give me a rifle. I'll be back by the morning.
And he brings back the horses.
Yep. He comes back, and just like the sheriff of the town, he comes into the bar. They had that classic shot where it's just his silhouettes.
It was very spaghetti western, Sergio Leone, Clint Eastwood. It was that. It was that.
Yeah.
we got that.
He even takes a shot from the bar in the end and goes, slams the glass down.
Like, yep, this is how we're doing this, you guys.
Yeah.
This is how we're doing this show. It's like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm in, 100%.
Yep.
You got me.
And the nice thing is we don't need to... I've heard some complaints, and I admit it is a little annoying. Boba Fett does have his helmet off a little too much. And I hear people saying, well, it was cool when we didn't know his identity and blah, blah. I'm like, okay, but Attack of the Clones came out in 2002. We know what he looks like as an adult. Now we need to know more behind the face. And I like the fact that those things change. Disney took something that people didn't maybe like so much originally, like, oh, what, Boba Fett's a clone, and now we all know what he looks like, and he just looks like this, I don't know, for the uneducated, they'll say Australian dude, but he's New Zealander. He studies the Haka, which, ha, is, I know, the Ka is fire, ha means breathe, Ka, fire, right? And that's where the whole gaffy stick origin came around, was it related to the Sand People and Tamara Morrison's own personal lineage. And I love how they just put all of that together and take the identity of the actor and mold it into the character and create this legend that still respects the origins. Maybe he doesn't do some shit that's as epic as the comics, but we'll see. He might. We still have some ways to go, but so far he's doing some stuff where you're like, oh, your average Joe can't just do that. That's something Boba Fett can do. And that includes taking down a bar full of guys and hijacking a train. And unlike Solo's train hijacking sequence, this one actually has some stakes, has some tension, and really, like, when he has to pull the lever and he's not getting it, judging by how Boba got messed up before.
Oh man, I don't want to I mean, I guess if you haven't seen the show, you're not listening to this, but the whole I'm trying not to spoil too much. I'm like holding back a little bit. Like the whole setup for that part, like there was like a whole bunch of like zoom ins because it's like a robot or a droid train conductor, and it comes in on that a couple of times while the train is going. And it's like, oh, I got to do all this crazy stuff. And then it's like Boba Fett's like looking at all this insane shit in front of him. And he's like, I don't know what to do here, dude. Seriously, you can feel the tension, just from the way that he's like looking at all the controls, because he's just like surrounded by all this crazy flashing weird stuff. He has no idea what to do. And you're just like, oh my God, but the build up to that with the like close ups of the robot and like, I don't know. That was just like a lot of fun and like it just good filmmaking. Good job.
Yeah, it used the conventions of action scenes, which structurally used them well. Like when Boba gets pinned down we can give away the plot because of the idea of this show is you've seen the episode.
And I'm still thinking like in the back of my head like it's a Western, like he's the gunslinger, so he's jumping the train, and like if it was the olden time, it would be the guy he's a sweaty, greasy guy. He's like, oh, I don't know, all these levers and blah blah blah. He's throwing them and throwing the coal in the fire. It's replaced by a robot. It's just like it's so crazy. It's just such a crazy sequence. It's a lot of fun.
I love how they replace the coal with electromagnetic energy.
I don't know what was happening there, but that was yeah. Just like a whole bunch of dials and like slides and like weird screens and tablets and shit that are up in my...
There was one odd shot I noticed where, because the Boba Fett fan that I am, where I had to defend the character for I don't know how many years, there was a part where one guy gets on top of him and then the Sand People chieftain rescues him. But then I noticed when I rewound the sequence, after he like knocks the guy, like hits the guy, and then he fights with the chieftain, that guy who was on top of Boba Fett in the next cut is like randomly on top of him again. And I'm like, wait, how did he get on top of him? Like, how did he magically appear back on the ground? But that was just something I noticed, because I'm like, I want to know every blow by blow what Boba Fett did and keep a scorecard at this point.
Well, it's no like Starbucks guy or whatever.
No.
Dude hiding in the corner, but maybe it caught like a minor continuity mistake.
Yeah.
Not a huge deal, but who knows?
No, it wasn't a big deal. I mean, and that guy get on top of Boba was fine, because then, like, Boba rolled over and knew he'd land on the platform below him and just fucking set the guy flying. A lot of fun, a lot of great action, and the nice thing is there's story behind the action. It's not just boom, 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 dumb action, We learned that...
And there's a reason that, that train needed to be stopped.
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to spoil the contents of the train.
I don't know. I mean, that doesn't matter as much, like what they were stealing, as much as like who the Pikes are, which are, they're pirates, they're scumbags. They don't want to help, they just want to hurt. And
play Fallout 4, they're the Raiders.
Yes, the Raiders from Fallout 4. Now, and then who are the other organizations? You have the Institute and then the Brotherhood of the Arms.
Brotherhood of Steel.
But the Brotherhood of Steel. Right,
yeah.
And, well, it's similar to the episode's title, which is the Tribes of Tatooine. And
I'm a little bummed out that they didn't just run with. I'm a little bummed out that they didn't just run with a bunch of more Iron Maiden song titles. That would have been a little bit more fantastic.
Like, what would
Stranger, that's like a super small Venn diagram nerd thing that I was thinking about. It's like, oh, Stranger in the Strange song. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite Iron Maiden songs.
Oh,
I'm a dork. I'm a dork and I'm on a podcast, so guess what I'm going to say?
No,
Stupid
guess what?
stuff.
I'm a bigger dork because I don't even know what you're referring to.
There you go. Even
I just know movie soundtracks, literally.
The Venn diagram even got even smaller. Oh, there you go, yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool
good.
reference I wouldn't know because I don't know who Venn diagram is. Like, I've heard the name, I think, but literally, like, I grew up on 90s music and movie soundtracks, including Star Wars. But the movie soundtrack that was big for me was 1989's Batman. I would listen to that on a cassette tape as a kid and kind of just imagine the story about the Phantom of the Opera to the score of Batman. But that's a little personal thing. I did, but the nice thing is, I wonder if you're going to have fans, I'm concerned, are going to complain that this show isn't true to who Boba Fett is. He wouldn't help those people out. He's not a good guy. He's a jerk. He doesn't care.
You don't know.
Yeah, it's like, have you ever had that impression about Boba Fett or any impression of who he is?
4 lines of dialogue across 3 movies. You don't know shit about this guy. Everybody that thinks anything.
Now here's the thing. Oh, there's the expanded universe and
Nope. This might not even be canon, so no, fuck you, shut up.
Yeah.
It's just like, enjoy it. Enjoy it for what it is. The guy that played Jango Fett gets a chance to play the guy that he really wanted to play, Boba Fett. Just shut up and watch it.
Yeah, shut up, watch it, stop it. I'm not going to go that far because I do wonder if there is some validity in their points. Like, is he a little too nice and Disney-fied and caring now? Or
No.
does he still want something in the end from the Tusken Raiders? Like, okay, I helped you out.
2 episodes in.
Exactly. And he's not going to betray them. He respects them because...
I mean, all told, we've seen about an hour.
Yeah, hour 20
it's,
minutes.
It's not so much.
Yeah,
minus like credits and fantastic art at the end of it. But.
Yeah. But here, I don't think, I think in the end, this thing does a great job of balancing Boba Fett's character while also kind of saying something new about him, which is Boba Fett is, at the end of the day, he works with monsters and bad guys and all that, but also he does have a moral code. He's a good guy, and he really is just a guy who just does whatever job comes to him, but never really has had a purpose. And now maybe through the Sand People, he finds some kind of purpose, and that purpose is just to simply exist in the universe and be a simple man trying to make his way across the galaxy, like his father before him. Jango Fett never was like, I want to make an army for myself. Count Dooku in the Boba Fett video game, which I'll spare the audience the pain of having to watch, because you'll just see me go around in circles and it's not very fun footage. Where is my damn... I want my rocket. I want my back rocket. Anyway, sorry, I took it myself.
Well, I mean, a lot of people don't have the benefit of being able to watch, the Clone Wars and Rebels and all of these other shows that do show you that the clones are all different people. Like, we weren't going to get, a version of Jango Fett. You know what I mean? Like, that was never going to happen. This Boba Fett is a separate person.
Yeah. But like his father...
A lot of people that are watching this show didn't have the opportunity or just didn't watch 7 years of Clone Wars and all this other backstory building stuff, which is, like, I guess, like, this is all in that same canon, because this shows, like, we're connected to the Bad Batch, which goes back to Clone Wars, which is connected to Rebels, which, that's just so much material to sit down and watch. But yeah, not all the clones are Jango Fett's running around there being dicks. You know what I mean? So, like, sit back and relax, and, like, Boba Fett is his own man. Let's see that happen.
Yeah, and I think Jango was more of a dick than Boba, probably. But I mean, Jango, was a simple man.
That's what people were thinking.
Taking work, like the whole clone army. He got that because
he was
Count Dooku approached him.
100% business.
Yeah,
100% business, and Boba Fett might not be. He had a little bit of a scare in the Sarlacc pit that might have changed him. That's what I said last episode too. Is like we're seeing this side of Boba Fett that exists because of the Sarlacc. That was the closest that he ever came to death. That's never going to happen again. He changed a little bit. Like, before the Sarlacc pit, he was like running around, like being a bounty hunter, doing little jobs for whoever, not really thinking about his mortality. And then he was stuck in that pit, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I could die." And let's change that up a little bit. Maybe if he didn't get thrown in that Sarlacc pit, that Tusken Raider situation might have ended up a little bit differently. He probably could have taken those 6 in the desert by himself, after what we saw in the bar. So, who knows? Man with honor in the desert, the gunslinger.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because
4 more episodes to go.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because they, in a way, with the whole chieftain sticks, I think they're kind of making it relate to how Han Solo hit him in the back of the jetpack and he flew out of there. You're just thinking, if he knew the ways of the Haka in real life, because he's Morai.
That stick wouldn't have hit him. There's no way.
Yeah.
He would have been more aware of his surroundings.
Exactly.
I could go on a tangent about that, but yeah, you're probably right. It's just like...
Exactly. He would have known that he would have had that stick right there. He would have, like, flipped that shit and probably knocked Han Solo into the fucking pit.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, Luke Skywalker probably would have knocked him and killed him in there instead.
Probably.
But I mean, because he did get that
Push.
rope around him, you know. But you know, now he knows. Now he knows he's tougher than he was before. We'll probably learn a little more about these assassins, and it wasn't just two random guys. Because maybe the filmmakers knew that. Maybe they knew, hey, you know what? Fans are gonna be pissed off when they just see these two random dudes take down Boba Fett. But we're gonna show you, oh, they're not who you think they are, and you shouldn't underestimate these villains. But everything is also going to lead to a very interesting climax. I think it's going to be an all-out gang war, you know, between the Hutts and the Raiders, and maybe the criminal underworld with Boba, and the criminals might respect Boba when he beats the Hutts in the end, which would be incredible to see.
Now that the Hutts know that he's no longer a bounty hunter, does that mean that they can hire bounty hunters to come get him?
Well, I wonder what that scene is.
That could be a fun twist on what I thought was going to happen. Because initially, when the show was coming out, I thought they were going to be like putting Boba in charge of the bounty hunter guild and having him rebuild the bounty hunter guild and blah 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 bounty hunters. But that's not what's happening. So, you know, maybe not the mayor, but you know, whoever else hired the other people are like, yeah, you know, let's hire IG-88. let's hire Bosk to take out Boba Fett. Oh my goodness, that would be so much fun.
And what if during those fights he builds a bounty hunter guild? He says, we don't have to kill each other.
Come work for me.
Yeah, we have a similar enemy. Which, by the way, Tamara Morrison's performance is continuing to surprise me. Because I have to say, I was very worried before the show came out, because every trailer, he just sounded like he was bored. And I was like, oh God, is he going to have like this bored tone that I've heard him do in the video games? And
making him multi-dimensional.
Yeah. And now we realize it's intentional. Because now we see him with some personality. We see a personality behind Boba Fett, which is really great. And it's not like a dumb, lame one.
Up until this point, all we heard him say were, you know, 4 lines, and he was at work, man. He was talking to his boss. So we didn't get the Boba Fett that Boba Fett is. We got the dude. He was like at work.
Yeah. Well, because his performance,
he was in front of his manager the whole time.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, and they got to have fun with this character too, which I didn't know about, because fans like to take ownership of material, you know, and they're like, Boba Fett wouldn't do this when he said that. I like how they had fun. I like the little bit when they're on the swoop bikes, and he's like, you know, you ride it like a bantha, and he's like kind of smiling at them. He's like, all right, maybe not, but you kind of learn how he's able to instruct and teach people, and he's learned from his mistakes, and I think it's going to make him a wise leader. You know, will he eventually fail and die? Yeah, probably. And maybe at the end of this series, or I'm hoping he doesn't die at the end of this series. I hope he's like the mob boss of the galaxy and a character other people in live series goes to.
Yeah.
But if he does die, it might be by the hands of Mace Windu, you know.
Han Solo.
Well, it wouldn't be Han Solo.
Explains why he wasn't in the sequels. Papa.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. I agree with Harrison Ford. Leave his character dead. Leave him in the ground. I don't want to see Han Solo anymore. I don't want to see a de-aged Han Solo. I really hope that's just like a stupid rumor, and that's not true. Oh shit! I should have spawned as like the guard, or who's like the weak ass dude you can spawn as, and then you just like can hit like L and R, and then like you fucking L1 R1 just get a bunch of points just for doing that, just for rallying people. That's a cheat code, everyone, to get points early. Who cares? I'm not actually cheating.
It's the officer.
Yeah, it's just a good.
If you use that character, that's a thing you can do. So I don't know how that's a cheat.
Yeah. Anyways,
if it's in the game and they give it to you and you use it, it's not really a cheat.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I call it a strategy. But I mean, in a way, it's technically a cheat just because it's like a really cheap way to get points. But you know what? If Bill Belichick can get away with cheating at the Super Bowl and still be called a legend, I can. I can do this.
One of the faster ways to do it is to launch the smoke grenade and the sensor grenade into the same crowd, and then shoot that crowd from a distance with your shotgun. And you just get, you might not get a bunch of kills, but you'll get assists on pretty much everybody in there.
Yeah, they got assist count, man. Because like with this, I know we're rambling about assists, but I can circle. But watch how smart of a critic I am. We'll circle back to assists with Boba Fett because Boba Fett learns how to assist people.
Like I said before we leave the game, it was kind of nice to see a Wookiee enforcer straight from the video game.
Yes.
Walking around working for the Hutts. That was kind of, that was fun.
No, I'm glad you reminded me
that. We've only seen a handful of Wookiees, and we didn't see any Wookiees really in Mandalorian, so.
Yeah, I'm actually like hiding in a corner right now because I'm trying to find that Wookiee's name. But he's actually been established in the comics before. If anyone remembers the Black Wookiee's name, please give us, please tell us below who he is. Because
$5 to
win. We will give you, I'll tell you what, if someone tells me his name and I find it in the comments later, I'll send you a Galway Bay glass. No, I'm serious. I'll do it. I will do anything for views. Oh man, but no. But what I was gonna say is actually there's a character in the comics who's similar to the chieftain of the Sand People, and his character was, again, it's hard to remember any of these characters' name because they're kind of like a Scrabble board. You just jumble like letters together and then you get a name. But anyways, this guy was a former Jedi whose family got killed, so he went out to become a Tusken Raider himself and became this great warrior who dances with wolves with the Tusken Raiders and helps them gain some of their land back and do the things that Boba basically did. So basically Boba is like the story of that character that they plucked from the comics that were established, I believe, in '95 or something like that, and has been a recurring character. Again, these are all things that Filoni and Favreau, they're plucking from the expanded universe that's no longer canon and making it their canon, which, again, that's a little bit of a Bill Belichick, but it's okay because it's storytelling and it counts.
It's fine. They're doing good.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Anyways, any high-level remaining thoughts? What are your expectations? I guess we'll always end on this. Expectations for future episodes.
I mean, seeing Boba Fett do, I'm assuming that was a spice lizard. I'm assuming that he was doing spice.
Oh my God, we didn't talk about his fucking LSD trip.
That was
Boba
awesome.
Fett takes drugs, people. Or no, they give drugs to people. It's like licking the bottom of a lizard. He was like on shrooms or something, man.
Yeah. Like, dude, I've done plenty of hallucinogens. I would not want to be him and do hallucinogens. No, thank you.
Especially when they give him like a COVID test that makes him high.
He sees enough crazy shit normally. He does not need it, like, for real. Oh my goodness. But yeah, that was so much fun. And I'm pretty sure that whatever the fuck happened, like that lizard thing was like full of spice.
Oh God, no, that was just I mean, if a lizard goes in your nose, I don't know this for a fact, but I remember hearing, like, if you lick the bottom of a lizard, you get, like, high as fuck off of it.
Oh yeah, there's lizards and frogs and all kinds of stuff in real life that you can
really
lick.
Man,
oh, yeah.
I gotta find a frog. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do drugs, really kids. It might lead you to make creative decisions like the writers of the Book of Boba Fett do.
I'm telling you, you don't. I'm telling you I have, and I'm telling you, you don't.
Okay. Well, luckily I have not taken hallucinogens.
But I'm just trying to be honest.
I just take what's legal in Illinois. So, haha.
Don't go looking for animals to taste. It's not a good idea.
Don't do that, but folks, I'll just leave that at that. But that was a fun sequence.
You can fucking look that shit up. Don't be stupid.
Yeah, anyway, Boba Fett. So many people are going to cut that now.
That whole thing was just so much fun, though. It was just awakening moment when he goes out and finds his stick.
Should we call this show Boba Fett Awakens? No, I'm kidding.
You can't change the show every week.
I'm kidding. No. Back to the Future. I love that idea. I don't know how you came up with that.
I don't know either.
But yeah, that was John Davies' idea. Did I say your name wrong? John Davis's idea.
Yeah, it's close enough.
Anyways, that was John's idea. He said, like, Back to the Future. I'm like, how the fuck did you think of that? It's so good. Because, like, yeah, he spends the time in the back of things, and then we go to the future. When he, you know, or we should say the present. I guess it should be more like Back to the Present, but...
It's still a long time, is it just a long time ago now, since it's in the future? It's no, like, they erased one of those longs? A long, long time ago.
Oh yeah, it's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It's like
now it's just one long. It's one less long.
Yeah, we're getting closer.
Star Wars nerd.
We're getting closer. 2050, I guess it'll become. It won't be passed anymore. Depends when the long ago was. Was that during the KOTOR days? Speaking of KOTOR, there's so much lore from KOTOR that is in this show. They brought in the Crate Dragon and Mandalorian. And then if you play KOTOR and actually talk to the chieftain instead of like killing all the sand people, you find out they never take off their garbs, they never show their face, and that's why they wear it. And
Mandalorians of the desert.
Yep, they're the Mandalorians of the desert. Good way to put it.
Fuck you, Chewie. Get out of here.
But anyways, having said that, what do you think's gonna? I gotta stop saying having said that. Jesus Christ. What do you think?
I don't know, man. Third episode. I think they're gonna fast forward and like we've gotten chapter 1 and chapter 2 is pretty much like the bridge between Mandalorian and what the hell's happening. Plus, we get the bonus of the backstory. I think they're gonna kick it into gear and it's gonna be, you know, nuts from here on out. I really do.
I hope
that
we go to
bounty
Kamino.
hunters, if they go back to Kamino for some reason, more locations. You know, I love Tatooine, but we've been seeing Tatooine since 1977, so let's...
And we'll see it more with Obi-Wan.
He'll be on, yeah, exactly. It's like... all the Star Wars shows can't be on Tatooine all the time. It's like, come on, you guys, yeah, Two Sons is cool, but...
You know,
big universe, guys.
There was an article title. I'm not going to be Carlos Mencia and steal it. There was an article title I read that said, "I hate Tatooine," and I'm like, yeah, I can agree with that. I don't hate it though. I will say I get annoyed with it, but then I see episodes like this and I become interested in its lore. Like I know they did establish who these sand people were a little bit in The Mandalorian. But here they go really into detail, and I was wondering, am I really going to give a shit? And I actually did. I really cared in the end. Darth Vader available. No, I want Boba. Darth Vader. Boba Fett outlived Darth Vader. Think of that, folks.
Right. Or did he? Bum, bum, bum. I don't know.
No, he's dead. We saw his Force Ghost.
He gone.
Yeah.
We saw two Force Ghosts. He's got 2 Force Ghosts. That guy.
He does have 2 Force Ghosts. It's like, do you want to see me young and hot, or do you want to see me old?
Yeah, right. Totally.
All right, well, John, thanks for jumping on. This is fun. I literally see the sun going down as I'm doing this podcast.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. So luckily, I have... This is exactly why I have... Stream Deck, not Steam Deck, but I really want Steam Deck, and I really want Classic Battlefront to be on there. Okay, guys, Valve, if you're listening, put Classic Battlefront, make it Linux compatible, please. All right, folks, I'm a total nerd, but that's why I'm doing a Star Wars show, and that's why I'm a film critic. Life comes full circle, as is Boba Fett's. Anyways, guys,